Okay, we're back to our game engine 2. And what we want to do in this video is add a picture and then load it onto the little window that runs. First, let's just run the project because we forgot to do this last time to see what happens. So click on Start at the top, and it's just a blank cornflower blue box. We're gonna make the graphic appear in the upper left-hand corner. So just press the X on that, and then go over here to content. That's where we're going to store our media files, like our pictures, sounds, fonts, textures, everything that we create for our game. So look at the content folder, right click on it, go to add existing item. Then you'll see a little box drop down menu here. Click on it and click on image files. You can see all the list of different types of image files that you can import into the game studio. And I already have an image picked out, so I'm going to go to my pictures directory and pick this little robot. Okay, so now we can see robot.png is being included in our project. But when we actually click on start, the program compiles our code into an executable, and we have to copy. It has to automatically copy this robot.png file into that executable directory. So click on robot, right click on robot.png, click properties, and then go over here. It says do not copy. Click on that. You'll see a little arrow. Click on the arrow and click on copy if newer. So this will copy to the output directory where our executable is. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is open up game1.cs where our game code is. Up here at the top we see two lines. These are called variables. For example, the graphics device manager is a variable named graphics. The graphics device manager is the type, and the name of it is graphics. It could be anything. It could be temp1, x, x1, num1, but we want to give it a descriptive name. So what I'm going to do here is, in order to load in the robot graphics file, we have to create a texture 2D variable. And I'm going to name it Sprite1. So we're declaring that in memory we're going to save a texture 2D object in the Sprite1 variable. Now in order to load that graphic in, we have to go down to our load content method, our function. So we want to say Sprite1 becomes content period load. We're loading in a texture 2D type, and then we want to put in double quotes, we want to put in just the name, the first part before the dot, the name of the graphics file, which is just robot. Okay, and that'll load the robot file into that Sprite1 variable. Now the Sprite1 holds all the information that was in the robot file in memory. So let's run it just to make sure we have no errors. There's no errors. It's not displaying it yet because we didn't put any code in the draw method to make it draw. So we'll scroll down to the draw method. Let's see. Okay, here's the draw method. Well, if you would have noticed up at the top, there's this sprite batch object, and that's what controls our access to that window, to the screen. So what we want to do is use the sprite batch variable and begin drawing. So here we're saying begin drawing. And then what we want to do is sprite batch. Next, we want to draw it. So we're going to use, let's see, batch draw. And it shows here, you can see here, these are the parameters that this function is going to take. So it's going to take that texture 2D object called sprite1 we created. So let's see, sprite1, comma. Now it takes a rectangle object. So we're going to create a new rectangle. It creates a new rectangle. And what it wants is the x and the y. Well, that's at the top corner of the screen. If you remember from algebra, the Cartesian coordinate system starts at 0, 0 at the top of the screen. And I remember just from looking at the properties of this robot graphics file that it's 100 by 148. And you'll have to look at that in your file explorer to determine the width and the height, or graphics editor. And then the color is going to be the background color. So we're just going to do color, and we usually use white. And then we always want to end our programming statements with a semicolon. And then finally, we want to use the sprite batch function once more and end our drawing. So we started it with begin. We draw everything in between the begin and the end, and then the end says to stop the drawing. So let's see. We'll start this and see if we get it. Oh yeah, and there's our picture. In the next video, we're going to go over how to make the picture move across the screen.